Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GT3 Sprint Championship uh, recap video. This is week 9 of season 16. We were at Suzuka um, last night. Unfortunately, I was not in attendance. I was at a concert. I went to see Hot Mulligan, so if my voice sounds a little scratchy, that would be why. So this one's gonna be a little bit different than normal, mostly because I don't have the track downloaded, or I don't have the track owned, and basically all of my knowledge comes from watching Jason last night, which was pretty fun. Um, so as always, if you haven't seen it, go watch the video, the broadcast. It's on the YouTube here. It was pretty fantastic. Um, But yeah, let's dive in. We've on our screen you can see, the winners cards. Um let's see. We had from what I could tell, it was a bit chaotic to start. It calmed down a little bit and then, a little bit of jumbling around in the pits, and then kind of once everything settled, it just kind of went. There wasn't any race drama or chaos that I could see. But let's hop into what I'm gonna start calling the race superlatives. It's like, remember the class superlatives in like high school yearbook, most likely to succeed, stuff like that. That's what I'm gonna start calling the awards category. Um, I don't have the cards made. I didn't have a lot of the screenshots, and I didn't really want to half-ass them. So we are going to we're just gonna go through them here. I'll just kind of talk about them. So starting with fastest lap, it was second place finishing pro-am Chris Chitterling ran a 156.793, which is it's pretty freaking blistering. I mean, you look at your overall winner, Ryan, and he did a 157 flat. So what a lap from Chris. Um, Cleanest driver, we had a tie. Elliot Burton and Chris Stewart both had only two incidents, that's pretty awesome, especially in Chris's case, where I believe we will speak about him momentarily. But he had quite a run this race. Um, Closest finish, man. I feel like this is not the first time, but it is Josh D and Prashant Jayaraman at just at 3/10 apart. I feel like they've had multiple times, at least one other time, where those the two of them as the closest finish. That's pretty wild. And then most position gained. Usually we call this the Trey Mistack Hard Charger Award because he always wins it just starting in the back and being a pro. Like he's gonna always have the most, but not this week. This week Trey was out trade by Chris Stewart, who started right there in the back with him and worked his way all the way up to 13th. Um, that is 31 positions gained to Trey's 29. Um, so sorry I don't have your car livery up. He is a Sim City racing guy. Uh, we do love those liveries. We've seen Nick Mazza run a few of them. But yeah, hell of a run from Chris Stewart. Pro-Am finds his way all the way up to 13th. He's also a YouTuber, and I've already seen that he has his POV of this up on YouTube. So look him up, give it a watch. That's some impressive stuff. Looks like our lap, just interesting things. Our lap with the most fastest lap was lap 5, with 8 different drivers setting their best lap on lap 5. So sounds like that's kind of right when the tires fire up, and the race just kind of circled away from there. It seemed like that was the peak. So let's hop in. I'm just going to kind of do an overview of notes I took from the race as I was watching. Some interesting things, kind of some storylines. We'll start with in qualifying. It was funny. Jason mixed up Texas and Tennessee. He must not be a big college football guy. Uh, Connor Burns, he's a big fan. was running a University of Tennessee livery, and Jason called the University of Texas. So that was quite amusing. Um, Otis takes pole with a pretty small margin. I believe there was only a tenth back to third, which was Austin. Um, see, Jeff was your pro-am pole sitter in fourth, and Aiden in ninth was the am pole sitter. And then rounding that out, we had Carter Thompson and Josh D in 13th and 14th, and first and second for the rookies in qualifying. So we had a good set. There was 44 cars, I believe, on the grid. Um, the race starts, and Otis gets a great jump, kind of put a little bit of gap, and was gone. It was over after corner two. He just had to lock in and do what he does. But Austin quickly jumps. I want to say it was by the third corner. Jumped John Javecki to take second, and those two kind of just battled it out from there. Like never really, from what I could see, never had too much drama. It was John maybe trying to save in the first half, and Austin being like just fast enough to not give him a shot. So those two ended up finishing second and third. Um, in the first few corners, some pretty typical chaos. It looked like Gage Himes and Max Poe got tangled in the S's. It looked like Max just kind of got a little greedy, tried to come over and saw himself spinning around. Gage seemed fine. I think he was running top six. We'll get to the end of his race later. Dylan Thomas in that region had an unfortunate. It looked like a car got a little loose on a curb, and he might have been okay, but there were two cars full speed behind him, and they just plowed through him, which was unfortunate. And I believe Alex Zier as well had a a spin there. Kind of looked like it was by himself, just got loose, and off he went. Um, for the first couple of laps, though, we had, like I said, you guys got to watch the YouTube video. It was the broadcast. It was great. There was a ton of side by side, you know, three rows deep of two cars, all just battling each other. It was some really good stuff. Took probably three or four laps before we really started seeing some people kind of get into a groove, and they weren't just fighting every corner. And then, at that point, we started seeing a lot of little like little pockets forming of like really, it was a ton of four-car trains. It was, you have four cars, gap, and it was kind of that way all the way down. And then kind of one of the last early crashes was Connor Burns looked like he got claimed by a car with broken steering. Unfortunately, just drove, the guy tried to turn, his steering was broken, couldn't do anything about it, and just took him out. That's super unfortunate. Some notable charges early on. Matt Benson, uh, as you can see here, started in 12th and pretty quickly worked his way into the top 10. Um, Hell of a run from Matt there in the AM class, and you had all three of your mains classes finishing in the top 10, and John finishing in the top 20. So good showing from all of our winners. Um, let's see. As we were getting near the pit stops, it looked like Jeff Koffold and Chris Chitterling were having quite a good war. I mean, I was seeing really close racing. It looked like a couple of times Chris kind of would try to throw a nose and see if he could get Jeff off his game. Um, but unfortunately, Chris had a slow pit stop, and while he did get second, I don't think he lost a spot. He definitely lost um, the toe of Jeff, and really just kind of let Jeff kind of just got to cruise on home after that. Um, one of the very few people to make a jump in the pits was Gage. He jumped Jacob Simmons in the pits, and then unfortunately they had a pretty good dicey, back and forth through. It looked like one. I don't remember exactly where it was, and they just came together. And unfortunately, that was the end of Gage's race. Tough going. Thankfully, we have drop weeks, and he can still vie for that title. Another funny moment. Jason Caster, commentator cursed the absolute hell out of Steve. He he was holding off Trey, and he Jason goes, "Oh, look at Steve doing a great job holding off Trey." And then he goes to rechat, and literally that second, Steve just loops it into the wall. Unfortunate, super unfortunate. Um, a little bit later on, Max Klein absolutely alphas Jeff Lubitsch and Matt Benson, basically in chat, just telling them how much better Jason is than all of them. That was pretty funny to read. Jeff is in Jeff was in chat like, well, I guess I'll just go kill myself. It was ridiculous. It was very funny. Um, let's see. Then kind of after the pit stops, everything was pretty calm, pretty tame, nothing too crazy going on. Jason had a lot of time to jump around and look at incidents from early on. And Ryan Otis, he cruises to another victory. He's really shining. It's fun to see. Some weeks like this he runs away, some weeks he's in the battles like last week. So good race from him. John Javecki really pressures Gage the whole, or not Gage, Austin the whole way through to the end, but can't make it happen. And they finish second and third overall and in class. Jeff Koffel takes fourth where he started, and another pro am win. He is really racking them up. I don't want to speak too early, but I think the title is locked. Um, Matt Benson gets I believe this is his first win of the season in AM, and finishes seventh overall. And a fairly newcomer, I think this is his first GT3 race. I think we saw him in Bueck. Uh, Jean McClon, is how we're gonna say it. Finishes in first in the rookies. So congrats to him. Always great to get a win. Um, yeah, with all that being said, let's quickly hop into the points. Let's see how things are shaking out. This is the pros. Watch everybody as I finally do it. I zoom in so people can see what the hell I'm looking at. We will sort based on this race. And as I said, your podium was Ryan, Austin, and John, with Jacob and Trey finishing out your top five. Let's take a look at the net points for the half. So for the half, we currently have Gage in the lead with Austin and Jacob in tow, and they're separated by 25 points. That is, wow, what a margin. That is very slim. This is quite a battle we have, even down to fourth here at 700 points. But yeah, this top three that's so close. I mean, first and second are 5 points apart. That's a couple of qualifying positions. When we hop into the overall, we've got Jacob still leading the overall, Gage and Austin. So it's the same three, almost in reverse order. And this is also still super tight, 50, 60 points separating the three of them. Um, yeah, if you're watching any of the races, really pay attention to these three, the two Valhalla guys and Thunder Thighs own Jacob Simmons. They've got quite the battle going on here. Um, let's see. Where's Otis? Because it's showing. Well, yeah, him being first is not real, but he is the one that is just barely off there in fourth for the half. So now I'll hop into the pro ams. Let's see. Your podium was Jeff Koffel, Chris Chitterling, and Marshall Scare. Your defending pro am champion. Jeff, like I said, I mean, he's got a pretty good margin, here. Actually, really not. That's pretty narrow. These two, Jeff and Chris, definitely running away with this. But their margin for the half is pretty close. They've both consistently had high finishes. But the overall, I mean, Jeff is 400 points ahead of Marshall and 600 ahead of Chris. Those are staggering numbers and would take a pretty big collapse from Jeff to not see him bring this overall pro am title home. In the am class, we had Matt Benson take the win. Adam Tingle, shout out Adam Tingle. He posted in the Discord. He had like an absolutely gnarly real life car crash right before the day before the race or the day of the race. Hold on, I gotta go. Um, this week on Tuesday, he had a gnarly car crash and is having brain surgery next week. So he won't be racing the rest of the season, but he put it on the podium to end the season after that. That is uh wow. And hope everything goes great for you, Adam. We're all rooting for you. And Zach Peterson rounds out your podium there. I'm still just baffled by this Adam situation. In the second half championship, it is Adam. He's going to go out in the lead with Seth and Jason in the podium spots. He's got a good margin on him, but if you look at it, if we kind of block him out, the new what is this? First, second, third, fourth. First to fourth is separated by right at 100 points. So that's it's exciting. I mean, there's a lot to go for there. A lot of good battles to be had in these last three races. And if you look at the overall, I believe we've got a couple of Porsches up here at the top, um, which the car's been very much out of favor lately, and got a couple of guys really running it hard. Um, so yeah, very interested to see. Jake Jason Daly's got a pretty sizable gap, but this third place, I think third place is where our battle will be, and this is going to be between Tyler Kern, Aiden Gortz, and Eric Koonsman, all vying for third place, all within a few points of each other. I think Jason and Seth will comfortably go for 1-2. And then as we hop in, getting Discord notifications, I know it's insane. Um, Hop into the rookies. Uh, we had John McClung get a win. Joshua D, your current rookie leader, in second, and Ethan Coyne um, in third. So good job. Jason had a real hard time with his name. He said he's never seen it. He must not watch IndyCar. Isn't that like Dale Coyne Racing's pretty big name? So but let's see. We'll take a look at the points for these guys, and it currently with a little bit of a margin. Nothing to rest on. Charlie Bass over Josh D and Max Klein, which good for him. He's had trouble finishing a race with chaos, and he still finds himself battling neck and neck for a second place. Really, not even that far out from first place for this half. Um, and then we'll top into the overall, which with a pretty substantial margin between each position, Joshua D, Charlie Bass, and Felipe Nunez. Now let's take a quick gander at the teams. The kind of going back and forth groups, Valhalla and Austin Squared. We see Valhalla still staying in the lead. They are about 400 points up. So really, the battle is kind of died down. We need to see some chaos. It's tough because these guys, these four, consistently finish near the top of their class. So it's gonna be tough to see any shakeup without some major crashes and just destruction. And then finally, let's take a look at the updated rankings in the Constructors' Cup. Uh, A to Z. Corvettes in the lead. They've got three drivers averaging almost 800 points per season, per half this season. So they've got a really good group. Off the top of my head, I think I can't think of a single one, but clearly they're all doing pretty well. In the Porsche in second, who would have thought? Not I. And then Ferrari being in third with a high driver count. That's impressive. And then your overall leader, ignoring that, would be the Mustang. The Mustang has 1,500 points or so, with 3 extra drivers. Not a huge change in points per race, but a change nonetheless. And then we've got the overall for the second half. Austin McGill has taken the lead. Unfortunate Gage had a rough race that sees him stumble down into 7th, but Valhalla won 2 nonetheless. Like I said, we'll just kind of slowly scroll down. We got a tie for 10th between Peter Flanner and Elliot Burton. I believe these are Draft Punk Gold teammates. Adam Tingle in the top 10. Good job. That's an AM. Seth Hansen, another AM, looking just outside the top 10, as well as Matt. Let's see. Let's get to 20th. Joshua Justice in 20th. Eric Koonsman in 25th. I'm in tied for 28th. Alex Zier in 30. Steve McAllister, 35. Here's Mark Foley in 36. Felipe Nunez in 40th. And rounding out people who have scored, Kyle Strauss in 44th. And the overall standings, we'll just kind of focus here on the top 5. We've got Jacob Simmons takes the overall lead. Jeff, 20 points back. Gage, tough day for Gage. He is now 115 points off the back, followed by Austin. Let's see, Elliott's in 10th. Mark Foley's 15th. Let's see, Tyler Kern. Jackson Shallock in 30th. Where the heck am I? 23rd. Nice. Charlie Bass in 35th. Prashant in 40th. Chris Lambeth, 45th. Tyler Anderson, 50th. We're starting to see some names that really haven't showed up too much in the later parts of this season. These are probably one race people. And Chris Stewart was 78. So yeah, that's what we got going on so far this season. It's been a good one. So look forward to seeing how some of these title fights finish out. I think the pro title fight is the king. It'll be very interesting to see how that all shakes out. And this Sunday we will be at Bathurst. Um, that'll be very exciting. I'm just hoping and praying I don't die. I have zero skill at that track, and yeah, so that'll be an um, exciting race this Sunday. We've got Tuesday. Bueck is at Daytona. Would love to see a big crowd for that one. That should be a great race. Um, Wednesdays is ARCA. Thursdays V's and Rays. And then this weekend, I believe there's also Global Endurance Tour is at Daytona. So a lot of Daytona this weekend. Looking forward to it. A lot of Bathurst practice this week. I'm just praying as I drive through it. I have no idea what I'm doing. So yeah, exciting stuff, and look forward to seeing everybody there. And have a great week.